Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali.
Everybody sing. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Keep singing.
Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali.
One more time.
Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Ma, Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Ma, Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali.
Keep singing with us.
Jaya Ma, Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali.
One more time. Sing it out strong.
Jaya Ma, Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali.
Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Bolo, bolo. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Jaya Ma, Jaya Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Everybody sing.
Jaya Ma, Jaya
Jagadambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Keep singing with us.
Jaya Ma,
Jaya Ma,
Jaya Jagadambe,
Jai Jai Ma,
Hey Ma Durga,
Hey Ma Durga.
Hey Kali.
One more time, sing it out loud.
Jaya Ma,
Jaya Ma,
Jaya Jagadambe,
Jai 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 Ma, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Kali. Kali Ma, Kali Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Ma. Sing out with us. Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Kali Ma, Kali Ma, Kali Ma. Just a little Jema.
Okay, you guys in the band, stay there. Because in the call is the connection. It's a Sufi story where a man called out to God and called and called and called, and he said, but I feel nothing. I don't know it. It's not happening. And then, because in Sufi tradition, a deer is holy. It's a messenger. It's a sign of an angel. A deer appeared to him in his dreams, and he said, in that call was the connection. And so when you sing like something like that and you raise your hands and you're reaching out, in that reaching out, there was the connection. And so, come on, I want some music again, the same music. Come on, come on, come on, come on. This is when you don't know how to speak music. You just clap your hands and go, come on. Say, no music, just the music. Just the music. That. And so, to honor all traditions, we reach out to that image of our God, whatever that image may be. And so for some of you, you are saying, Jesus, and it's okay. Because Jesus is the personification of that which touches your heart. And for some of you, you reach out to the Divine Mother, the Holy Mother, Pachamama herself. And then for some of you, it's going to be Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah. And in that crying out, God reaches into your soul and delivers that which your soul wants. So stand out and yell to your God and say its name. Call its holy name by the name that most touches your heart. Go. And now we can all go have coffee. Thank you. Let's just do that once in a while and have brunch. But I do want to talk to you today about the talk, and it's the principles of successful living. Because we live, move, and have our being in an experience that we could call the love intelligence of the universe, known by so many names, whether it's Ram or Krishna or Allah, Jehovah, Jesus, Christ, Holy Spirit. Whatever that is, we live in that, and we start to have a personal relationship with that. And when we start to have that personal relationship, not like it could go anywhere, but it's when we start to know it. How many of you have ever been in a family where you were all at the same table, but you didn't know each other? I mean, there's a few of you. Well, we're all in this table, this banquet of God, and sometimes we just don't even know that banquet. We don't know the provider. So there is that presence, but that also that presence works in an orderly way. It works in what could be called, well, it is called the law of cause and effect, or through principle. And it's important to know those principles so that we can apply those principles to the life that we want to live. The theme for this month is getting grounded. And there was a group of ministers who put together the talks for this month, or at least the talk titles. And I realized that they were giving you a Reader's Digest view of this book, which is the Science of Mind textbook. We started with what it is, and then we talked about thought. Today I'm going to talk about how to apply your thought. And then next week we talk about mysticism, which is the last chapter. Pretty darn good. It's important to putty. I'm just like, Allah, I'm still there. Woo-hoo. Kathy, bring your head back. Okay. It's important to talk about basics, though, because we're always using the principle. We're always using the law of cause and effect. We might as well use it effectively. So turn to page... Thank you. Some of you got the joke. When you get home, pull out your Science of Mind textbook and turn to page 266, which is begins the chapter of the principles of successful living. The lessons, and Ernest Holmes says there, lessons on prosperity and mental control of conditions are sometimes dangerous because of the misunderstanding of this subject. The science of mind is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Neither does it promise something for nothing. It does, however, promise the one who will comply with its teachings that he or she shall be able to bring greater possibilities and happier conditions into their experience. No one whose entire time is spent contemplating limitation can demonstrate the freedom from that limitation. And then he goes on to say, if a man or woman wishes to draw a greater good into their life, they must become a bigger person. The price that we pay for the new life is mental and spiritual coin. I'm just paraphrasing because I'm sure that you're going to go home tonight and read it thoroughly and underline things. It's actually one of my favorite chapters in that book. This is so important, and it's good that in January we are looking at how to use our mind more effectively and to start with basics and then build from there. And I had already done this talk on Friday because I knew that I wanted to go north and work with my riding instructor, who's also training one of my horses, on Saturday. So I had to get everything done. And what she said was just what I had written. She said, too many people get a horse and see what other people can do. And I'm in a training facility where people are doing some pretty amazing things with the horses, the kind of things I want to do. They're not jumping, that's not that, but I want to do the things where they spin around. And they... and then they spin again. So much fun. And she said, people see what a horse can do and they get on a horse and they think they can do that. And they don't learn just the basics. And she says, I teach the basics. And you learn something really well, and then you move and you learn something really well. Then you move and you learn something really well, which is the way we learn everything. You see, it would be hard to be a great artist and not know color theory or proportion. We start with basics all the time. And so this is really a very basic talk, but we need to know that. And the basic part of that is that we live in an intelligent universe. There's a study out recently by many scientists who have finally concluded that the universe is conscious. The whole universe is conscious. Now, Ernest Holmes could have told them that. Most mystics could have told them that, but I'm glad that they're coming to that conclusion. And they're finding the evidence of that. What we live and move and have our being in is conscious. It's intelligent. It has volition. It's responsive, and it's love. And it works in an orderly way. So there is that which is presence, that which we can feel, we call out to and can reach down and touch us. And then there's that which is principle, which has been known in different ways, but known as the law of cause and effect, that shows up in many religions, most religions. The law of cause and effect in Buddhism and Hinduism is taught as the law of karma. In Christianity, it's done unto you as you believe, and in Judaism, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. In quantum physics, matter is affected by the thought of the observer, and in the S training, what goes around comes around. It's all a circular action. And I wanted to explain it to you and give you a picture so that you could more readily apply this law, that you'd know the basics, and then you get to play around with it. And I wanted to use a metaphor because most spiritual teachers use metaphors or parables because it's hard to explain something that you can't reach out and touch. So I'll use film. Whether it's digital or back in the old days. How many of you remember the old days when film, you used to put it on a reel? If nothing else, you at least saw a movie where people put a film on a reel. How many of you can imagine that? Oh, God, you're so much better than first service. I don't know what was happening with first service. Maybe they weren't awake. But really, did you notice that, Anne? That this, like I said, who could imagine it? They're like, So anyway, thank you. We're ahead of the game. You're imagining film. And the film has light move through it, and what's on the film is projected onto the screen. Or the film, which is digitized now, moves through light and is projected on there. Well, we are that film. We're that little piece of film. Any moment, we are it. We are that picture. And the light, or the law of cause and effect, moves through us and projects onto our life, and we see what we are. It's said that, going against a lot of, it used to be in crime, if you had an eyewitness, that was a good thing. But what they've proven is eyewitnesses are very unreliable. Because they see what they see. 30 people will see the same crime 30 different ways. Who's right? We see what we are. We see what's moving through us. We see what's in us, and we project it out, and it taints what we see. We have different experiences because of who we are. So if we are experiencing stress, if we are experiencing upset, if we get angry, if things bother us, it's not the thing, it's the us that we are projecting onto the thing. My husband and I have totally different experiences of snow. That frame in the film is always changing, but most of the time, even though the frame is changing, even though you're different every single moment and everything is being recreated every moment, most of the time, each frame is just like the frame before. And so we continue to have the same old storyline showing up in our life. So I would love to show you how to change your frame of mind, therefore change your experience of what's going on. So you might want to take notes. Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking, change your life. And he said that in the very early stages of his particular development of his philosophy. And there's so much more to it than that. How many of you have changed your mind before and it still didn't change anything? See, if something's true, it's got to always be true. It's way too simplistic. The truth is, change your hair and you'll change your life. But he didn't have much hair, so he just didn't know that. 7 steps for changing your experience. The first one is be responsible. Not responsible like guilty. Responsible means able to respond. You're responsible for what you're experiencing. You can respond to what you're experiencing. You have power in the matter. We're responsible for being able to see what's out there and saying, I might want to shift this. One of the things that I said, and this is actually was really influenced by the workshop I did last Sunday for those people who wanted to set intentions. But one of the things I came up with is that we're the ones that need to create how we want to live this coming year or decade or the rest of your life. So we're responsible. That means that we need to, when Ernest Holmes said, we can't live a life of liberty, no person whose entire time is spent in contemplation of limitation can demonstrate freedom from such limitation. We can't contemplate who's to blame and be responsible. We can't contemplate how we messed up and change things. What we contemplate, we become. So we take responsibility for shifting things in this moment and knowing that there is a law that will work through that shift of mind that will happen, that will allow us to have a different experience. Number 2, state that I am free from all past influence in this now moment and forever. Because this principle, this law of cause and effect that moves through us, in metaphysical terms, it says that we say that it's not bound by precedents. I mean, it's not bound by what happened before. The frame that the light is moving through, your frame of mind, is really not influenced by your past frames of mind. It's just that your past frames of mind have become a habit, and they keep showing up. But if you change your frame of mind, the law doesn't say, don't give me that. You've been guilty for so long, you can't change your mind now. The law just goes, okay, she's innocent. We can change, therefore it can change the result. We need to cut the cords of the past by allowing ourselves to just see that this is a fresh moment. In Revelations it says, behold, I make all things new. But most people think, behold, it's the same old, same old. Now that's not high and holy. So let's say this together. I am free, of all past influence, in this now moment, and forever. And now I want you to actually see in your mind, is there any cord, any idea, anything that's been holding you back? See it in your mind, like something that, like some of you will see it like a chain or one of those yipper dogs on your ankles, or maybe you'll even feel like it's a cord that you can't break. Now see yourself free, because oftentimes the mind works when you can turn it into a picture. See yourself totally unencumbered, and say it again. I am free, of all past influence, in this now moment, and forever. Yay! Well, thank you. Number 3, intend and end. Intend and end. Intend. Come up with an end result that you want. And have it be a long-range end result. One of the things I said last week in the workshop is that we're either living intentionally or accidentally. Like it just happens, and then we react. So we're reacting to the accident, or we're intending and moving forward into what we want. We get to choose. It doesn't mean that if an accident happens, you don't respond, but you don't get carried away by that response. It doesn't take up your life. It's like something that you're dealing with. Carl Jung said that when he was working with people, if he gave them something so big to think about, all the problems that they came in with went away. Where was their energy going to? Something big. Your focus will take you where you're supposed to go. And the universe has showed me that so many times. ugh. There was a time when I was doing cross-country skiing. Frankly, I hate it. It's like, why? Have this, but I liked the guy that wanted to go. And so I rented the skis, and I got the outfit, and I was cross-country skiing. And I fell almost all winter because I was looking at the little paths that the other cross-country skiers had formed, and I was trying to stay in the path, and I'd look down and I'd fall down. I fell down, so I was getting really good about how to get back up on your skis. I was perfecting that. About the end of the winter, the end of the season, I finally got that if I looked forward out on the trail, I stayed up. I went where my eyes were. When I'm riding a horse, if I look around, they look around. They know if I have to look where I want the horse to go. It's more about where I look than reining. The body, I'm sure, is slightly shifting because of something that I'm not aware of, but the eyes have it. When I'm working with people in horse coaching, I will have them imagine an end that they want and to see it ahead of them and to see it and walk towards it. And then I have them with a horse. And that if they really stay focused ahead, the horse walks really, really well. But if they're wandering around looking what the horse is doing, where's my feet, then the horse gets all wiggly. It's like a biofeedback machine from the universe. Life is a biofeedback machine from the universe. Where are you looking? That's where you'll go. Intend something. I have an intention. I'm so grateful that we're in a new decade. So I was going to have an intention for the decade, but it's like this is the intention for the rest of my life. I live a God-centered life of service and fun. I mean, that's all I want to do. I want to serve and have fun. So am I serving? Am I having fun? Am I serving? Am I having fun? Intend and end. Then, 4. This is very important. Too many of us see something, but we see it like out there. Like, oh, it'll happen. I'll get there. It seemed like yesterday, but it was a year ago, last week. How many of you thought that with everything that went on, it felt like a year went on from Sunday to Sunday? It was a big week. Somebody had an intention of I'm going to get out of debt. Well, no, that's your intention is to get going. The intention is you're out of debt. I'm out of debt. Now that's the intention. We can hold it as an idea, but we have to put ourselves into that idea. We have to feel it and see it. We have to feel it and see it. That's why Ernest Holmes says you can only have as much as you become. How can you imagine it? So you know what you want, and then you feel it and you see it. There was a time when my first ministry was in Salt Lake City, and I wanted to come back to Seattle. And there were other people that wanted this particular center to be the minister as well. And they were great. We'd all gone to ministerial school together. They were wonderful. But I really wanted this. And so I not only prayed, but I would feel myself in Seattle. So I did it because this was so different than Salt Lake City. I would feel moisture. You know how sometimes it's not really raining, but it's not dry? I would feel that on my skin. You got to put yourself there. So you intend it, you feel it, you put yourself in the end. Ernest Holmes said, once again, man must become more if he wishes to draw a greater good into his life. I had to be the person that lived in Seattle. I was either going to get Seattle or San Francisco. It was going to be moist. Number 5, to the degree that you can, act as if. To the degree that you can. When we were moving out of the Sandpoint Way location, we had a place to meet on Sundays, but we still didn't have offices. And we have a lot of people, and we have a lot of stuff that we do in offices. And we didn't have office space. And it was getting close. But we packed our bags, or boxes, and Patrick got bids for movers and scheduled the movers, acting as though we would find an office space. And in the nick of time, we did. You have to act as if. Now, that does not mean charge as if. Charging supports debt. And no one really signs up for debt. Oh, I really want to be in debt. Now, you might need it for a home or something large, but charging to putting yourself in debt, does that feel free? And the universe is for your freedom. Number 6. This is sort of like wax on, wax off. Instead, it's intend, visualize, affirm, act. Intend, visualize, affirm, act. Over and over and over again until something shifts within yourself. I know from experience that when I would allow myself to do the work until something went, it's done. Right after I could say, it's done, it was usually done. Change the inner and you will change the outer experience. Work on that film, work on that frame, and it will produce something. And sometimes you have to do it over and over and over again until it just feels right. Until it feels right. 7. As you prove the power of principle or the law of cause and effect for yourself, and you need to really prove it for yourself. You need to believe in it. You need to prove it. Really. Ernest Holmes said we should be the prayingest people on the planet because we believe in the power of prayer. We believe that there's a principle that we're working with. We trust it. We won't trust it if we don't work with it. If you don't experiment and prove things to yourself, then it's just a theory and it's Kathianne blabbing away. And hopefully I'm entertaining enough that you come back. But it doesn't matter. I'm to work myself out of a job by you knowing this principle so well that you become the messenger of this idea that life can change for anyone. So you prove it to yourself and then you take on bigger issues, like the healing of someone else, the harmony in your family, or the world. Abigail spoke last week about the power of intentional thought being more powerful than just little thoughts. Focused thought is more powerful than just the random stuff that's going on. We could be focusing our thought on the kind of world that we want, intending that kind of world. Tomorrow we will celebrate the person, Martin Luther King. And my goodness, he had a dream. And you look at it, that dream is unfolding. It's not complete yet, but it's starting to happen. It's rolling out. Our founding fathers had a dream. It was bigger than even they were. They used words that they couldn't even live by. But that was a download. That was God speaking through people and saying, this is how it could be. Everybody's going to be equal. This is how it can be. And it set something in motion. When Martin Luther King started to see how children could be seen as equal, it hasn't happened everywhere yet. But it's starting. We're seeing it happen. It's breaking out. That's the power of focused thought and the word that follows. It's so humongous. When we know that this stuff works, why wouldn't we be praying for everything? For the solution to happen either through us or someone else. Because anything that bothers us, there is a solution to it. Emma Curtis Hopkins said it, and I think it was in High Mysticism, and I so believe it. She said, someday we will understand that there have been saints that have dedicated their life to knowing the truth that preserves this planet. Focused energy, focused thought, contributing to a vibration that lifts us all up, because some vibrations are not really very lifting. And we can be thankful for what they're doing. I had the opportunity of talking to someone recently who used 23andMe and found out that she was, even though she knew she was adopted, biologically she's Polish. I'm Polish. All the spiritual texts say that your spirit just adopted a human family, but your spirit. And you can aspire to live a spiritual life using the law of cause and effect for not only allowing yourself to have a fuller expression of life, but for allowing yourself to be a place where healing happens for our planet. Ernest Holmes said that there's a power in the universe for good and we can use it, and that power is the law of cause and effect. So let's just do that right now. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath. And I'd love for you to imagine the life you choose to live. Now, some of you may see it in the form of people, places, or things, and some of you may experience the life you want to live as an inner experience. A life of more freedom, of more love, of more creativity, an experience of flourishing, contributing. A life where you know that you are loved and appreciated and held by something greater than yourself. Where that call has been answered and you feel that presence. You are directed by that spirit. Allow yourself to imagine it and feel it now. And now join me in imagining a world that works for more and more and more and more people until it works for everyone. Imagine that cooperation, harmony, compassion is breaking out. That ideas of us and them are dying out. That solutions to what we face and our children face are emerging. Imagine that the earth is feeling these thoughts and regenerating herself. Imagine that people are living more spirit-filled lives, no matter what they call that spirit, even if they just call that spirit love. Imagine with me. And now I speak my word because the word is the law unto the law. And I speak my word that the images held in this room are now being acted upon by the law of cause and effect. And they will ripple out into the future that we walk into. I give thanks that there is nothing that will keep these images from progressing, unfolding, and becoming the movie that we live in. I give thanks that not only ourselves, but other groups of people are rising up and saying, no more war. That picture, that movie is so passé. We are allowing ourselves to know that there's so much upon this planet. Everyone can have food, everyone can have water, and everyone can have clean air. That's the movie that we are creating. And we are allowing ourselves to know it, to feel it, and even if we don't live there, our children's children will enjoy it. That is what we hold, and that's what the law will work upon, and that's what we can accept with glad expectation. And all the angels sing, hallelujah. And so it is.